So it's kind of weird calling it Falcon and the Winter Soldier and not Falcon and the White Wolf, right? So
Yeah.
maybe he has a relapse, or maybe
I don't know if he
um
could have a relapse though, because we saw at the beginning of this episode, like Io cured
yeah,
him.
exactly. And even
But
Zemo saying the words out loud when he walks in, right? He doesn't react.
I was so scared when he first said that.
I
Like,
was so cool though. Just
yeah, it
seeing,
was
I think
cool.
he's such a great character. But maybe the title of the show potentially, probably not, but maybe Walker's the Winter Soldier now.
It's gonna take some time to just get used to like doing a full-on marathon with like each individual episode, but it'll fly
Mm-hmm.
by. Like if I do it on WandaVision, like it's not gonna take too long because the episodes are like half an hour to 40 minutes
Yeah.
mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the difficult thing with this one, though, right? Because they're all like 45 minutes, all
I
like 50
know.
minutes, but I don't know.
That's what we asked for, though. We were complaining about how short the WandaVision's
Yeah.
episodes were, and it's better now. So
Oh, yeah. It feels like a full like TV show episode, like it feels more,
yeah,
thought out. I don't even know if it's that. It just feels more full. There were some WandaVision
definitely
episodes that were like a little too
too
light.
quick. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And like even though the episodes have been like much longer, like there's been those cliffhangers as well that just keeps you wanting more.
Mm-hmm.
They've done a really good job with it, and I think the directors on this one, like I think they've done like Game of Thrones as well, so they're
Yeah.
used to like more of like a longer form of show.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, okay, let's just jump right into this then.
Sure.
Welcome back to Unlimited. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment down below as well. We're also on Spotify. Follow at Unlimited Pod on Instagram as well. I got a great guest today, Matt Mallard, Ryerson Sport Media student, big Marvel fan. Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited to talk about everything that we're going to talk about today. I'm pumped.
Yeah, we are very, very pumped for this one. Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's my first breakdown reaction, and this is my first time talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier on the
Oh,
podcast.
really?
Yeah, I haven't done an
Wow.
episode on Falcon yet. So this is exciting. 4 episodes in, but it's about time. So we're going to be talking episode 4. Lots of stuff went down. Also going to touch on some general Marvel discussions later on in the show. I'm excited to hear what Matt has to say about Marvel. I know you're a big Marvel guy, but I haven't ever talked to you about it, really. Like all I've heard is that you really know your stuff. So I'm excited for this. What have your thoughts been on Falcon and Winter Soldier so far?
I've really liked it. I think, from the first scene of the first episode, they kind of ground you back in, the real world, kind of where they left you in Endgame and Far From Home as well. Compared to WandaVision, that show takes, a couple episodes to get back into, the real world that they
Yeah,
had established over the 20 films, right? Or 20 plus films. And for this one, they put you right back into it and you're still feeling the effects from these characters you've been with right away, or been with for forever now, right?
yeah,
Like Sam, like Bucky, and even Rhodey too in the first episode, right? I
yeah,
mean, I love it. I think it's really well done. It looks great. The action's good, but it's not too much, right? There's a lot of story and there's a lot of emotional connections to previous movies and previous things that have happened, and I think they've done a great job in tying it in with the MCU.
yeah, yeah. And like the action, like I think in this past episode, so like keeping track, like how many action scenes do we have? And I believe there was three in total in this episode, but it was mostly story. And they've
Mhm.
done a great job of developing Sam and Bucky as characters since that last scene of Endgame. And that's the scene you were talking about at the beginning of this series with the voiceover of old Cap talking to Sam, giving him the shield. So yeah, that just sinks you right back into what Sam was feeling in that moment and how important that scene was. And that really just set the tone for this entire series. They're deciding what happens with the shield. Where does the legacy of Captain America go now that Steve Rogers we don't know where he is, but he's
Yeah.
not in this series yet. So it's just where the direction of the shield is going to go from here. So yeah, like I put this question, at the beginning of the show too, just because I want to know what you think of it compared to WandaVision. And I've heard, many people say that WandaVision is clearly still the better one. But then if you think of that, like maybe it's just because it was the show to come out before. So like we have higher expectations, and that one did extremely well in terms of ratings. So it is hard to, make a comeback. It's tough to come on after like Elvis, is like the saying. So where would you rank this compared to WandaVision?
For me as an overall show, I think I hold it better, like above WandaVision. I think WandaVision was a great show. I thought it was, a totally unique idea in term, for the MCU to start and say, you know what, we're gonna set this little area they're in, this little reality that Wanda's created for herself. We're gonna give you 2 episodes of this, 2.5 episodes, before we show you that something is up. And I mean, something's up, right? Something's changing, that they changed throughout the decades, throughout the episodes, right?
Yeah.
But then they established that reality that she's created, and you don't know is exactly what it is to start.
No.
But I think I thought that was really cool, right? And I know a lot of fans and a lot of viewers kind of dropped out after the first couple episodes.
For sure.
They didn't wait till the end, right? Because they thought, I don't like the sitcom theme, or but for those that stick around, you get the massive payoff at the end, right? And it opens up and reconnects itself with the MCU going forward. And she shows, I think she was in Sokovia at the end, in that little cabin right near, I could be
maybe
wrong,
we don't know.
Yeah, but in terms, like, compared to this show, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think this one feels more like a mini series. The other one felt like a TV show. This one kind of feels like it's going to be a 4-hour movie that's just broken down into 6 episodes, or I think it's 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Right.
Or is it a 6? Yeah, I guess 4 hours, maybe like between 5 and 6 hours.
Yeah.
Long.
Honestly, it feels like a movie, right? The way it's shot and the way it's done. I loved WandaVision, right? But it was, that TV show and that sitcom thing that kind of takes you away from the MCU feeling of it. But I liked it. But for comparing the two, I'm going to hold Falcon and the Winter Soldier above.
Interesting. Okay.
Personally.
Yeah. I agree with you. Like, I think Falcon and the Winter Soldier is like a better overall production of a show, and it feels more like a typical MCU event, content, movie, whatever you want to call it. And WandaVision was smaller, but I don't know. I feel like I think like week to week, there was a lot more speculation, obviously, and more talking points about what was happening in WandaVision. But that's also just because it is a mystery, and we didn't really know what was going on, and everybody wanted to talk about that. I'm not feeling that exact same way with Falcon, but there's still a ton of questions. But I think also just like the theme songs, what they did with WandaVision, and the set design, and the Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany did a great job with that show.
Oh yeah.
But then again, this show is great. I think right now at this point of the series of Falcon and Winter Soldier, I'm still gonna hold WandaVision higher.
Hey, that's fair.
But I think by the end of it, I could be completely changed of opinions there. But we'll see. I really enjoyed WandaVision, but Falcon and Winter Soldier is very close there, and Loki apparently is going to be insane too.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that a little bit later, I think. But yeah, this episode 4 of Falcon and Winter Soldier, it left us with one of the most iconic photos, I guess, in the entire MCU. So we're just going to get right into what John Walker did, and nobody really likes John Walker, ever since he's been introduced as the new Captain America. Like, just his face is so punchable. Like, nobody really likes this guy at all. You saw Sam's reaction to it in the first episode, and then Bucky in the second episode. Like, we really are team Sam and Bucky. We don't want a new Captain America, and we want Steve Rogers back. And what he did, throughout this episode, and, messing up Sam's discussion with Karli, and then at the end of this episode where he ultimately kills one of the flag smashers in the middle of the streets in Latvia, was just, something that Steve Rogers would never do, and goes against what, Captain America stands for. So yeah, let me ask you, why do you think John Walker did what he did And do you agree with what he did at all?
Well, to answer your last question, no, not at
Okay.
all.
Okay.
Right. Like you said, everybody hates John Walker, right?
Yeah.
From the moment he came on the screen, nobody's for him that I've heard yet. I don't know. Maybe there's someone out there, right? Maybe some
Yeah.
crazy comic book fan loves the character and, just wants to
Right.
see him stick around.
Yeah.
But, in terms of, asking why he did what he did, or, I thought it was really cool upon rewatching it, this morning. I noticed, and I didn't notice the first time watching, when Lamar was killed, right, when he was sent into the beam by Karli, or the pillar, sorry, and he was
Yep.
killed, as John Walker was, realizing that Lamar was dead, the Winter Soldier theme started kicking in and playing
Yes.
as he was
Right.
losing, as he was snapping, right? And that's that Bucky Winter Soldier theme, right? And we've seen it throughout the show so far. Whenever he has those little flashbacks, or wherever there's a callback to his time as the Winter Soldier and his mind kind of bending, right? That theme plays. And when that happened, and when he snaps, that theme plays. And we know he took the serum, right?
Yeah.
And, as it's been said and stated so many times before, that serum amplifies, it amplifies you. It brings out
Yeah.
the more of you, right?
Yeah.
So now it's kind of brought out that loose, edgy, reactionary person that we've seen without the serum, and it's now amplified that, right? So he
Mhm.
doesn't have that, character that Steve had, and now we're kind of seeing potentially sort of a Red Skull-esque, right? Taking the bad attributes and amplifying those, and now killing him at the end, right? That parallel to when Cap put the shield through Tony's suit, right? Instead of
Yeah.
killing him, he just took the suit out, right? Broke the
Yeah.
arc reactor. And now John Walker's done the opposite and took the finishing blow on the guy, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty neat.
Yeah. And then it's going back to, that discussion that Lamar had with John Walker in the scene prior, when they were,
Mm.
talking. I don't know where they were, but he was saying that, well, Walker asked him, first of all, like, would you take the serum if you had the chance? And Lamar's like, hell yeah. Like,
Without a
I
doubt.
would
Yeah.
definitely do it. And his explanation was kind of what you just said. It just amplifies who you are as a person, and it
Mhm.
just makes a person more of themselves. I think just gives them more power. And I don't know, like, throughout John Walker's storyline, I never really sensed that he would turn into this, killer, or he would end up doing this act. I thought, he was trying his best to be the best version of Captain America, and he wanted what was best for America, and he wanted to just do what was right. But then, yeah, ever since he took the serum, it just completely changed him. But or he
Mhm.
was just always like that, but we just hadn't seen that yet. I think obviously Lamar's death really just triggered him a
Yeah.
lot, and I don't even think Karli like knew that she could, punch someone that hard and kill
Mhm.
him. So it kind of caught her off guard a little bit. It seems she took off her mask, and that was weird.
Yeah.
But I feel like maybe, just to play devil's advocate a little bit, maybe that's how you can kind of see some reasoning to what he did. Like, he just lost his best friend. He, obviously this is one of the Flag Smashers who they're trying to, get rid of and kill. But um, yeah, I just don't agree with it still. Like, even when I
Yeah.
say that, like, it just doesn't make sense. That's not Captain America. Steve Rogers would not do that, especially in the middle of a street on like a monument. Yeah, he just wouldn't do that at all. So
Yeah. And
it's
I
inexcusable.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, kind of going back to when you first see him in the locker room, right? The
Yeah.
first thing he talks about is, his biggest trait that he shows in that discussion with Lamar and his wife or his girlfriend, I'm not sure. He says he's scared that he won't be able to live up to Captain America and what Captain America is, right? And I mean, I think it's later in the episode as well when Bucky and Sam are walking along the road and they're in the truck and they come up. I think it's Bucky asks him, if he's ever jumped on a live grenade, right?
Yep.
And he says, yeah, I do it all the time. I put my helmet over it, right? But there's the difference, right? Between him and Steve. Steve sacrifices his life for others, whereas, he's not necessarily shown that he's the one to put himself on the line.
Yeah.
And, he says in that scene, I don't want to try to replace Steve. I'm not trying to be Steve. I want to be the best Captain America, right? But the thing is, like, Captain America was
Is the
Steve
best
Rogers,
Captain America.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
best Captain America you can be is Steve Rogers, and all the traits and attributes that Steve Rogers possesses as a man, even before he had the serum, right? When he
Yeah.
was just a little guy at the military training camp, right?
Yep.
And I mean, it kind of shows the differences between them, right? How Walker sees what Captain America is versus what Captain America was before, and what actually made him Captain America. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool to see the parallels and the differences between the two, and how people, that don't know Steve personally, how they think and see what Captain America actually is, right?
Right. Yeah, that's good. And like it goes back to Zemo's discussion with Sam and Bucky at the beginning of the episode too. Like he's saying, like, yeah, but there was only one Steve Rogers. They were talking about the serum and stuff, and you see it in Sam's eyes. Like, yeah, he's right. There's only one Captain America, and you see that and like I was talking to my dad about this too, like the difference between John Walker and Steve Rogers, and even Sam and Bucky in that matter, like the way that they fight as well. Like they're fighting to defend and not to kill. Like you see the way that Sam and Bucky were fighting in this final scene, like it didn't look like they had the intent to really kill anyone, because they still didn't really know what was going on. They wanted to make the Flag Smashers good, and try and save Karli and turn her good. But John Walker and Lamar, they were clearly, fighting to kill, and that's not what Captain America or Steve Rogers is all about. So that's the clear difference there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I guess what we can go to next is like what's just gonna happen with John Walker,
Mm-hmm.
because we don't know. Like, is the government gonna like be okay with this at all? Like, do they
Yeah.
do they even know that he has the serum? Because so Sam saw John Walker like bend that, I don't know what
Yeah.
it
It was
was,
like a pole or
a
something,
pole,
yeah.
and then kick the Flag Smasher into the wall. And that must have been like stunning to him. Like he said, like, what did you do?
Yeah.
But still, does he really know that that John Walker took the serum? And what's the government gonna think of that? Are they gonna arrest him? Are they going to keep him along? Is he gonna be forced to retire? What do you think's gonna happen to Walker?
Yeah, it's interesting because you keep saying government, right? Because he's under the control of the government, and that's the exact opposite of what Steve wanted from,
Yeah,
the Accords,
exactly.
right? And he says it throughout, oh, the government, or I work for the government. This is a job, right? It's a job for him. It's not like, how Steve had it where he could do whatever he wanted, or the Avengers could go out and do whatever
Right.
they wanted.
Yep.
So, it kind of comes back on the government, which means he probably would have had to have been deployed there from the government. So it's kind of on the government that he was there, and his actions are on the government, right?
Okay.
Well, that's how I see it. I don't know if
Right.
that's actually what's going to happen, right? But I mean, the fact that he keeps stating, he works for the government, or he's tracking Sam and Bucky through the government. I think it's kind of gonna, if anything, it might cause, turmoil amongst, the population of, citizens and stuff like that. But I think in terms of, retiring him, I don't know if that's going to happen. He might go, and say, oh, he was justified in his means because they killed Lamar, right?
Right.
The United States government might come out and say, they're a terrorist organization, or they're, a radical organization or something, and then, justify his means, or
Yeah.
his actions. So I think it's going to play out that way. And I don't think there's going to be necessarily repercussions from the government on Walker himself.
Okay. Let me throw this idea at you. What if John Walker takes accountability for his actions in the next episode? And even though the government says all that stuff and they're defending him, but John Walker sees what he's done, sees how many people were filming, and the bad publicity that he's now getting. He wants to do things right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he just gives the shield to Sam and Bucky, knowing that he's caused too much trouble here. I don't know, like that might be the only way for John Walker to have like a good, decent end to his storyline.
Mm-hmm.
And like make us kind of like him in some way. But other than like, I don't know what the negative outcome would be for John Walker. I don't think he's going to get arrested. I think like maybe he could retire, but what do you think of just the positive ending to this? And he just turns the shield over to Sam and Bucky.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if they go that route, it works, right?
Yeah.
If they find a way to kind of round out his character arc and, he turns into that guy, that Captain America needs to be, the sacrifices himself to do the right thing. And I mean, however many times Steve had done that in the movies, right? It seemed like every movie he was in, he was trying to sacrifice himself. I think the end of John Walker's arc, no matter how it happens, I think he dies. I don't know if it's going to be Zemo, who said, he still wants to end the Winter Soldier program, the super soldier program. I think, either he ends him, Bucky ends him, somebody's going to kill him. I think that's how it ends.
Bucky? Okay. I don't know about Bucky.
I
can't picture one of Sam or Bucky doing it.
Yeah, I think it'll be Zemo. I think I think that would be the best outcome if you were going to kill him.
Yeah.
But I think definitely if you want to redeem the character and put him back and say, before you finish the show, I don't think this is a character that carries on past the show.
No, I don't think so either. Right? Yeah.
I think that's a great decision if that's the way they want to go with it. But I think in order to really round him out and make him, a good guy by the end of the show, I think he needs to die.
Really? Okay. Yeah. I guess
it's
so.
Tough, right?
I feel like you can't just like, there has to be because he's at like the lowest point right now, John Walker. So if you kill him at the lowest point, it's not going to be meaningful at all. It feels like it's just too quick, right? I think so. So I think he has to either give the shield back or join Sam and Bucky and try and find some good, and then Zemo can come in and kill him, and then I'll feel like it's more satisfying.
Oh, sorry.
Right?
I didn't mean I don't mean he's gonna die like in the next episode right away. I meant sorry, by the end of the show. End of it. My bad.
No. I think you said that too. I just misinterpreted it. Yeah, that does make sense though. Yeah, I could see at the very end, like in a final battle or whatever, he dies. Because I agree with you. I don't think this is gonna carry on throughout the other MCU titles. I don't see him being in this past Falcon and Winter Soldier. So the next question I got here is, how do Sam and Bucky reacquire the shield? And I guess we kind of touched on that. Like, is there a chance that Walker just gives it to them? Because we've seen the trailer footage. Like, the trailer footage shows Sam and Bucky at Sam's house, I think, fooling around with the shield, and they're having discussions about it. What do you have any thoughts on how they could get it back?
Kind of like what you said. Maybe if he turns it over, right?
Yeah,
I think something's got to happen to him, to give it back. Either I think, in some sort of redemption, maybe he's dying or he's giving up himself in some way, and he gives it to him and said, "It's not mine, it's yours." Steve said you should have had it or whatever, and then maybe Sam takes it back and finally accepts, yes, it is his. Steve gave it to him, right? I can't see them taking it from him. I mean,
like stealing it.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a theft thing. I think it's going to be a proper passing it on or giving it back to him, a proper return to Sam. I don't think it's going to be an unearned, not that taking it from him would be unearned, but I think it's going to be a more big moment in the show, as opposed to just stealing it and then he's got the shield back.
Yeah. And they've had the discussion about stealing it too, like in the plane. Like Bucky has said it to Sam, but I don't think Sam wants to be a part of that at all. Like, he's given it away. I don't think he wants to steal and get it back. You know what? I think, as you were talking there, do we get another appearance from Rhodey? And does he have anything to do with the shield getting back to them? Because, he was at that ceremony for Cap earlier, and he had that discussion. He had that one scene, and that was it with Sam. I feel like he's got to come back again, and maybe he has something to do. Maybe he says something publicly like, this is not, right. He should not be holding the shield anymore. So I could see a situation where Rhodes, James Rhodes, Rhodey helps Sam get the shield back. Could potentially happen.
Maybe just like, a public appearance or a statement out loud saying, hey, we're demanding, this guy step down. He's not who we thought he is, or he's not who we thought he is or was. I don't know. But definitely that would be nice to see Rhodey come back.
And then I guess just hopping back a little bit to what could happen to Walker, a bit of a darker ending. Like, what if he kills himself? Like, he's just at the lowest point of his life and he doesn't see, a way he can come back from this. He just lost his best friend.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if they do arrest him too, I could definitely see a good reason why he could just want to end things for himself, which would be incredibly sad. And I don't know if Marvel would ever make a scene like that or show that, Disney Plus, like, I don't know. But just throwing it out there, it could happen.
Yeah, I mean, the closest we've got to that in the MCU is, well, actually, we did see it with Rumlow in Civil War, right at the beginning, where he detonates the bomb in Lagos on himself, and then also at the end of Civil War with Zemo, where he tries to shoot himself.
You're
right. So they've definitely gone down that path. I don't think they'd make it as dark as it would be, for someone who is that low, right?
I think they'd show it off screen if they were to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely see that, but like we said, right? I think they're going to try to do some sort of character rebuild. I don't think if this will be the end, that'll be the turnaround, and then he's just done, right? I think that would be the best way to go about it.
I hope so, because like, I want to see John Walker do well. I think, even though nobody really likes him, I think, he can, maybe there's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel for him.
Yeah. And I mean, at the end of it, he's essentially a victim of the serum, right? Like, he felt that is what he needed to be Captain America. And when he got his ass kicked by the Dora Milaje, right? He said, he was sitting there with the shield and he was looking down and he was upset, like so visibly upset. And he says, they weren't even super soldier. He's like, they were just, normal warriors, and he couldn't beat them. So, he's already down on himself, thinking he can't be Captain America without the serum. And now he's taken it, and it's just amplified the wrong attributes and the worst attributes in him.
Yeah. I'm curious, when did you know in this episode that he took the serum? Because there's like a couple of moments where he's like twitching and stuff like that. What was the moment where you're like, oh, he took it?
Well, I didn't notice right away too, because when he's on his own and he has the shield and he throws it into the wall.
Yeah.
That didn't register in my head right away. Right. I just thought, ooh, he's going to go up to it and he's not going to be able to pull it out. Right. And as he's going up to it, he's doing that, like that weird twitch thing with his shoulder and his head, as it's still going through him. Right. He's still getting used to it. Yeah. And then he pulls it out of the wall and I was like, whoa, what the heck? And it wasn't until he bent the pole around the guy's hands where I was like, oh man, he took it. And, Sam goes, what did you do? And they actually draw attention to it. Right. And then the second time watching it, I'm thinking to myself, man, how did you not notice that? Like, he just put the shield through a concrete wall.
Yeah.
Right? And then
he didn't even realize he could do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was when I noticed the first time.
I think it was around there too. When he threw the shield into the wall, I was getting more suspicious. Like, oh, I don't think he could have done that before. But even when he first busted into like Zemo's house with Lamar, I thought he could have taken it then, because then he put the shield down, and I thought like, oh, he took the serum. Like, Sam doesn't know what he's getting into now with this fight. Like, why else would Walker put the shield down? But he didn't take it then, and like the fight with the Dora Milaje, like he had like the spear from the Dora Milaje stuck in his shield, and he couldn't pull it out. And then the Dora Milaje came over and just like yanked it out like it was nothing and flipped the shield up. And I guess that was the moment. But then also the discussion with Lamar helped him to do it as well. I guess another reason why Zemo could be the one to kill him is because now he is a super soldier, and Zemo's whole plan is to kill all of them and not have any more super soldiers in the world. So if he knows that John Walker's now a super soldier, he's gonna want to kill him for sure.
The weirdest thing for me, and I just thought about it now, like while we were talking earlier.
Yeah.
The show's called Falcon and the Winter Soldier, right? But they established that Bucky's no longer the Winter Soldier. Like they established that he's not that anymore. So I'm wondering if Bucky has a relapse at any point during the show, or if, because like they call him the White Wolf now, right? He's not the Winter Soldier.
Right.
So calling the show Falcon and the Winter Soldier is it's a little weird to me, because he's not the Winter Soldier. He's not. They've established that.
That's a very good point. I haven't heard this yet. That's that's really, really true.
Because like even is it Io? I think it's Io. Yeah. She calls him the White Wolf, right? And even Sam calls him the White Panther as a joke, right? Yeah. And nobody calls him the Winter Soldier except for Zemo when he's, and he's putting on the act in Mandrapore.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Right?
Mandrapore. Yep.
And right. So it's kind of weird calling it Falcon and the Winter Soldier and not Falcon and the White Wolf. Right. So maybe he has a relapse, or maybe
I don't know if he could have a relapse though, because we saw at the beginning of this episode, like Io cured him.
Exactly. And even Zemo saying the words out loud when he walks in, right? He doesn't react.
I was so scared when he first said that. Like,
I was so cool though. It was cool. I think he's such a great character. But maybe the title of the show, potentially, probably not, but maybe Walker's the Winter Soldier now.
I was just gonna say, right? Like maybe.
And Zemo keeps saying, my screen went down. Zemo keeps saying, he wants to get rid of the Winter Soldiers, and he's not killing Bucky, but he kills the doctor, right? Who was creating the serum, or who had created the serum. So now you can't make any more.
He maybe destroyed all of the serum.
And even think about it, right? He has that Winter Soldier theme song playing at the end, right? When he breaks.
Yeah, this guy's onto something here. You're onto something.
It's like maybe he's the Winter Soldier, because I don't know if I'm missing something or if I'm just forgetting the title card. There's nothing related to Bucky as the Winter Soldier, but it has the Captain America shield on it, right?
Right.
And the wing, I think, or something. But
no, I think it's just the shield. I don't know if
I can't remember. Yeah. So maybe they're alluding to someone else as the Winter Soldier, because they keep saying Bucky isn't, and they keep driving that point home. Okay. Right. Every episode they've kind of referenced, I don't work like that anymore. That's not me. It's out of my head in Wakanda. And then they show that they try to reboot him and it doesn't work. So maybe, I don't know. I think that would be cool.
That's a really good point. I can't believe I didn't think of that at all, but it makes sense. I think, when I read the title Falcon and Winter Soldier, like, yeah, it makes sense. He was the Winter Soldier. That's what they called him. And that's the name that people know him by too, right? It's not called Sam and Bucky. It's not called Falcon and Bucky.
Yeah.
Falcon and Winter Soldier. But yeah, it's interesting. But I could definitely see the possibility of Walker turning into the Winter Soldier now. I really could. And the music, like you said, playing. Like, these are all good connections.
Yeah, it's such a cool score too.
Yeah.
And I mean, one thing that's weird though, and I don't understand, as much as Bucky's been in the media, he bombed the UN at one point. That's what everyone thought. They knew his name, they saw his face. He's up in the museum, right? In the
Steve Rogers Museum.
Right. Yeah, he's all over that, but nobody recognizes him, right? When he goes on that date with that woman, he doesn't acknowledge himself as, no one seems to recognize him like they do Bucky, and he seems to want to be keeping it that way.
Is it because of the haircut? Is it the haircut?
Yeah, maybe, because the hair is not as long, right? But I mean, I just found that weird how nobody recognizes him, yet everybody knows Steve Rogers' face, right? And I don't know. That was just weird to me.
Well, yeah, you're right. But then, like in Madripoor, I think everybody knew kind of who he was.
Yeah, that's
right.
True.
But then Zemo also had to even like say that, like, as they were walking by people, he said like Winter Soldier or something.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what got people's attention, and it wasn't Bucky's face. But yeah, you're definitely right about that. Like, how don't like the people in Latvia, how don't they really know him?
Mhm. Well, even the one guy in Madripoor goes like, "Oh, you got a haircut or something in the
Yeah.
bar? New haircut?" Yeah, I don't know.
So maybe
I
it
just
is
found that
maybe it
weird.
is the hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess that's a reason why, Bucky's not the Winter Soldier anymore. New look, new cut, new
Yeah.
arm. So yeah, maybe, but then we saw when John Walker and Lamar came up on them, people started recording on I think there's like two people talking and like started filming.
Mhm.
But then again, that's probably more so for John Walker and not so much for Sam and Bucky.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know, but that's a really good point about the Winter Soldier, and I think that could make a lot of sense. And then honestly, I feel like if John Walker goes full Winter Soldier in this series, maybe there is a reason to keep him going past this series as
Yeah.
well, if he doesn't die from Zemo, which could make a lot of sense too.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, that's probably what could happen. Maybe John Walker teams up with the Power Broker at some point.
Yeah.
He figures out what's going on in Madripoor, and because he's one of the only people with the super soldier serum. So
Mhm.
maybe the Power Broker wants a mascot for him,
Yeah.
and he joins him. I don't know how many dark intentions are really behind Walker right now,
Yeah.
but it's gonna be interesting to see what happens there. Um, we're talking a lot about Zemo, so where do you think Zemo went after he escaped? I think he made a hole in his bathroom and went through the
Yeah.
sewers. I think Sam said he like pulled an El Chapo.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so where could he have gone? Like, I'm thinking maybe Sokovia, because of that one shot in the trailer of him like looking at the monument, I think, or like a memorial of maybe something that happened in Sokovia, like the from Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
And Bucky like points the gun at him, right, in the
And he
trailers.
drops all the bullets and then yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly I was thinking about that earlier today and I have no clue where he went.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of cool not knowing and you just get to wait and see, you
Yeah.
know. He's
Because
such a
that
cool character. I
yeah.
mean,
Because
but
his entrance whenever he comes back will be quite something, and
yeah.
we know that the Dora Milaje are going to be looking for him still. If he's
Mhm.
still in Latvia, they're still in Latvia, so they're going to be searching the streets for him.
Yeah.
Were you surprised that Zemo was so rich and like had all these, well, he has like the private jets and the clothing as well. Like his family was royalty, he said.
Yeah.
Were you
And
really surprised by that?
I was when I first saw it, but then I started thinking about it, everything that we knew about him, his name's Baron Zemo. He was an ex special ops, ex special forces, right? And he was like a kill squad. And I was surprised, yeah,
Yeah.
because I just never thought about it. But I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense, right? All the ability to do everything he did in Civil War, right? I mean, I thought it was pretty cool though, not just being, some low guy with no
Yeah.
resources. He has a reason to have all these resources, right?
Right. Yeah. I'm going to take the other side on this argument, I think, because I feel like it was really cool in Civil War how
Mhm.
they just made it seem like it was just an ordinary guy that wanted to separate the Avengers, and he
Yeah.
could just do it, with no power, with no resources at all. And the one, like, I don't know if it's a continuity error, but he would like in Civil War when he was flying to Moscow, like he wasn't taking a private jet. Like he wasn't flying first class. Like he was just taking a regular flight to Moscow. And now he has a
That's
private
true.
jet
Yeah.
in this show.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, and like he had to stay in like a hotel room there, and he was getting room service, so I guess maybe he's got a little bit of, a little
Yeah.
bit of
A little
dough.
bit of cash.
um, but I thought it was really cool how in Civil War it just made it seem like it was just a guy who lost his family in Sokovia and wanted to do something about it. I don't think he used like too many resources in that movie other than the book, but he had to like break into the guy's house to get the book.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's the first villain in the MCU that I guess, was as close to just a regular guy as we've had, and then to take on all the Avengers and, pull them apart and actually win.
Yeah.
Right. He was the first guy to win before Thanos.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, he was just a normal guy and he did it so well. He knew how he, needed to do it. And, his drive was there. And I definitely agree with what you're saying. That doesn't make sense that he was, flying in just a charter plane and now he's got all these resources, right?
I know. It threw me off guard at first too. I feel like it is a little bit of a, and I don't want to say with Marvel because I do think Marvel does everything for a reason. Like even if we think it's a cop out, like there's some reasoning that's going to come back in later movies and stuff like that. But I feel like maybe they just needed some way to get Sam and Bucky to Madripoor without having to cross borders, or because if Zemo was to cross the border, like he can't because he's in jail. So they just needed a way to get there somehow. And they're like, hey, Zemo is rich now. I don't know, maybe, but let's hope not. Let's hope they do it for a reason. But speaking of Madripoor and what's going on there, Sharon Carter says that it's crazy over there now. There's a lot going on ever since they killed is it Ziegel? No, Ziegel? Deagle? I don't know.
It's something.
Yeah.
Something.
Daigle?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
The guy who created the super soldier serum.
Zemo.
Nagel.
Nagel. Yeah.
There we go. Perfect. Ever since Zemo killed Nagel, it's been crazy there. Power Broker really wants the serum back. But there's no more serum after Zemo killed it or destroyed them all. What do you think is going on with Sharon Carter? Do you think she's actually working for the Power Broker, or do you think she's on like some other kind of mission?
She definitely has some sort of weight there, right? She lives in Hightown. She has, finances of some sort.
Yep.
All the stuff we've seen, her place that she brought them to. And even when she gets there, she kind of nods at the guards too, right? She kind of gives them a little nod like, hey, yeah, you know who I am. Let us through.
Yep.
And she definitely has some weight there to throw around. And the fact that, once they leave, she gets in her own car with somebody else that's driving her, right? Like she's a pretty high up person if she's got someone working for her and driving her car around for her. And she says, hey, we got a problem, right?
Yeah.
As they leave. So there's definitely something wrong there. But in terms of working for the Power Broker, I mean, maybe she's shown that she's not, trusting of them. She's helping them out, but she's also tracking just John Walker, right? So what if she now thinks, she needs to get John Walker because he now has the serum in his blood.
Exactly. There you go.
Right?
Teams up with the Power Broker. Yeah.
Yep.
That could happen.
Yep.
I don't know. Like, so Sharon Carter, I guess right after Civil War, what she was saying is that she had to go on the run. We don't know exactly how long she's been in Madripoor for, but it's probably, around what Civil War is 2016 and now it's 2024. So like 7 to 8 years around there.
Yeah, because they said 6 years ago was when Bucky was in Wakanda, and that was 2018. So about 8 years.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then I think from what I've heard, she was snapped. She was dusted. So she was gone for 5 years. I think like there was a screen in Endgame with showing her picture gone. So, but she still had some time, around 3 years to really develop herself and make a name for herself there. But I still don't really believe that she could be working for this guy. Or that's like her, like she might be working for the person, but I feel like she's kind of just intruding his plans and she has something bigger that she came there for. I have a feeling that Nick Fury is working with Sharon. I think
Ooh,
Nick Fury
that would be nice.
Nick Fury and Sharon Carter obviously had that relationship kind of being built up in Winter Soldier. And Fury was, trusting of Sharon to protect him in Steve Rogers' apartment. He assigned her to watch him as, Bucky was on the run trying to kill him, or entire Hydra was trying to kill him. So I feel like after the events of Civil War, like, I don't think Fury would have been completely like out in the dark of what happened in that situation. Even though he wasn't in that movie, I think he knew what Sharon had done, what Sam had done, what Cap had done, everyone had done. And he wanted to make sure Sharon was okay. I don't know if he's in space at this time or if he's still on land, but I feel like they kind of teamed up together, and maybe Fury sent her to Madripoor to do something, to be on a mission. There's also the possibility that Sharon Carter is a Skrull.
Yeah, you never know anymore. Anybody could be.
Yeah, and Nick Fury is also,
a
Skrull. Well, not Nick. Well, Talos.
Someone
guess,
is
right?
impersonating him. Yeah, Talos
Exactly.
is impersonating him.
So,
and we don't even know when that started, right? That could have
No.
been at any point from.
I think it was after Age of Ultron. I don't think the Fury in the end credit scene of Infinity War with Maria Hill and when he got dusted.
You think that was Talos?
I think it was Talos because, and I think Maria was also the Skrull because in that scene she called him Nick, and if you watch like Captain Marvel, Fury said that nobody ever calls him Nick; it's just Fury, and the way that she called him Nick in that scene makes it seem like that wasn't the real Fury and that wasn't the
That's
real
a good point.
Maria.
Yeah, I'd never noticed that. That's a good show.
Yeah, so then that's how, when he's so, but the thing with that is, though, that means that the real Nick Fury wasn't at Tony's funeral unless he came down from space to just attend the funeral.
Yes, I think that might have been him, but at the same time, I think it should be him.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
He was introduced in Iron Man 2, right? I think if they find a way to make it so that was him. But at the same time, in Far From Home, Talos says, well, Fury, Talos, right? Says to Spider-Man, he goes like, I would have talked to you at the funeral. I didn't think it was the right time.
Yeah, you're smart.
So
yeah.
that would have been Talos probably, unless, he just told him or he knew that Fury was there and he knew that, Fury knew he was leaving and he didn't want to, get acquainted with him when he wasn't actually going to be around for him.
That's true. Yeah.
So,
damn, this is such a big mind boggle right now.
You can't tell. You're just never going to be able to know, right?
Because even when we think we're onto something, like there's always another reason, or like they could have done something where they switched positions at this time. And yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's another pretty cool theory though. I'm lost. Where are we? Okay. Predictions for next episode. We talked about Walker's side. We talked about the Shield. What else do you think we could see happen in next episode? And if you want to jump to the finale too, go ahead. What do you think is going to happen?
I think we're going to meet the Power Broker at some point.
Okay.
In terms of John Walker, we kind of discussed it. I think the best would be to, have him sacrifice or put himself on the line for the greater good. In terms of the Shield, though, we've heard both Sam and Karli say, separately away from each other, that the Shield should be destroyed. Sam talks to Bucky and says, maybe I should have destroyed it. And Karli says to, her flag smasher goons or, her friends, she says, that symbol needs to be destroyed. It's an old symbol. It's, they've forgotten about us. That's no longer what that symbol means. In terms of the finale, I think something's going to happen between, I think Zemo is going to go back to being Zemo, because like throughout this show, since he's been reintroduced, he's kind of had that Loki style of character, right? Loki, not Loki,
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Yeah.
So he's been, you know, that villain, but they have to break him out and they have to trust him and they have to use him. He's never given them a reason to trust him, but they need to trust him, right?
Yep.
So he's kind of given me, you know, those sort of vibes. Whether or not his story ends in this show, I kind of hope not. I like Zemo, and whether or not they want to get, you know, the Legion of, what is it?
Thunderbirds, I think.
It's something evil, the Legion of Evil or something.
Oh,
I don't know,
know.
something like that. He's like the leader of them. I don't know.
I think it's the Thunderbirds. I think that's what I've heard.
I don't know who the Thunderbirds are. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he's the
know.
leader of the Thunderbirds in the comics.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then like whether or not he goes on and he becomes some, you know, some other big character down the line. Because I mean, you know, with WandaVision, you know, it kind of left us on a big cliffhanger, right?
Yeah.
Agatha was bound to the city, and the real Vision took off somewhere. We didn't even see Vision at the end of the show. He's out there somewhere. It's a big cliffhanger, and it sets up something later on. So that might be the same with this show. We might not get a definitive story's over. It could be, you know, a big setup for the movies, you know, and going forward. I was also wondering, what if we see Loki get involved with the power broker in some sort of, because we don't know who the power broker is, right? I think that would be pretty neat, but we also don't know what kind of version of Loki we're going to get, right? But in terms of the end of this show, I think it's going to be not a definitive end. We're going to have a lot of stuff set up. I have no clue what it's going to be.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I think John Walker dies. I think Zemo gets away.
Yeah.
Or Bucky lets him go.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe.
Because, you know, he dumps the bullets. He's got the gun on him and he dumps the bullets out of his hand.
Unless that's just like a cut scene that like will only be shown in the trailer, and like I don't think he kills him in that sense, but maybe something else happens in that scene.
And I mean, they do that all the time, right? Marvel's done that with trailers so much, you know, showing something in a trailer that's just doesn't happen in the movie. I remember in Infinity War, it shows a ton of people, including, you know, the Hulk and I think it's Iron Man flying in Wakanda, and they're all charging, you know, kind of through the trees and stuff. That scene is nowhere to be found, nor are those characters at any point on screen together, right? So they've definitely subverted expectations before. But in terms of how the show is going to go, I got no clue, and I'd love to hear what
honestly, like, well, at this point of the show, like, they could go various different paths, and like the whole, like, the real story here is just what's going to happen with the Shield, I think, and moving on past Steve Rogers. But there's so many ways you can go with this. Like, we don't even know like the actual plot of this show, and we're, you know, heading into the second last episode. Like, is Karli really the villain? Like, is the power broker the villain? Is Sam and Bucky gonna team up with Karli to beat the power broker? Because we know the power broker is after Karli. He wants her dead. Is Zemo the villain? What's going on with Sharon? You know, the whole like money situation with Sam's house. Like, there's so many things, but like, I think the plot that I'm leaning towards is that, like Sam obviously thinks that he can get through to Karli, and they had a great discussion in this last episode. And I think that if it wasn't for John Walker busting in, then maybe Sam could have got Karli to, you know, hand over the serum or destroy it, and stop killing the people that she was killing, and just stop her mission entirely. And he would help her out and help these other people around the world to, you know, fit in more and to make it a better place, like Karli was trying to do. Just because Sam said, like, he agrees with her fight, but he doesn't agree with how she's fighting it. And I think Sam could really come in and help. So I think that's what's going to happen. I think maybe, I don't know if it's going to be at the start of the episode, but maybe at some point in this episode, we see another discussion between Sam, Karli, maybe Bucky's involved, maybe some other more of the Flag Smashers are involved, or even potentially the Flag Smashers get captured by the power broker and Sam and Bucky have to go rescue them. I think
Yeah. Oh, that's a good call.
I think that's a way for the Flag Smashers to really gain the trust of Sam and Bucky, obviously. And if Sam and Bucky know that, and Sharon is in Madripoor as well, so there's a connection there. If she would know if the Flag Smashers were captured and where they would be captured, and I think Sam and Bucky could ultimately go save them, and that's how they kind of join forces, and that's how Karli becomes good.
Mhm.
So I could see that happening. As for Zemo, I don't know. It's tough to say. I don't think he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna die. He's
Yeah,
gonna
no.
go on past this series, and I believe it is the Thunderbirds. I looked it up, and I'm not sure. I'm not seeing any definitive answer for what it is, but I think it's the Thunderbirds that he puts together. I'm not sure what that is, but he's gonna be the head of something. I would think at least. But does Bucky let him go? I don't know about that. That'd be pretty crazy, and just the whole Bucky and Zemo's bad relationship in Civil War, and how it's coming
Mm,
full circle now, and Bucky's okay with letting Zemo run free.
mm.
Would be quite something. And yeah, maybe they become friends by the end of it. But then I would also think maybe Zemo gets involved in that battle that I was talking about between the Power Broker and Sam, Bucky, and the Flag Smashers. And yeah, maybe Rhodey gets involved there too. We see a full-on
That'd be cool.
end
That'd be
game
cool.
battle.
Yeah. Yeah. Another massive battle. And you got, the Dora Milaje there as well.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Right. So many
Jeez.
characters that have been introduced.
It's like a three-way fight. The Dora Milaje, they want to kill Zemo.
It's like the big
Zemo wants to kill
Anchorman fight scene.
Yeah. It's gonna be pretty hectic. And then just ultimately by the end of it, I think we will figure out who gets the shield.
They showed with Sam going in to talk to Karli, right, and trying to de-escalate the situation. It's exactly what Steve would have done. It's the same way that Steve would have handled that situation, going in alone, trying to be empathetic towards her situation, and how he doesn't necessarily understand her exact situation, but he can relate to it, try to de-escalate her. No violence, no weapons, no nothing. He goes in alone, right, pays her, lets her pay her respects, gives her time to pay her respects, and then comes in afterwards when everyone's gone. That's exactly how Steve would have done it, right?
Yeah.
I think we see him with the shield at the end of the show.
That'd be amazing. I want that to happen. I really do. Another maybe dark horse candidate could be, oh man, I forget his name. Torres.
Yeah.
Sam's secret agent, or his go-to guy, his wingman. But we haven't seen too much of him, so that's a really far-fetched one. But you know what? Maybe he comes back in one of these last two episodes, because I think he was a good character. I don't think Sam has forgotten about him. He was the guy who introduced Sam to the Flag Smashers idea and showed him the hands, right? So
yep,
he's got to be back.
I think in the comics too, if I'm not mistaken, I saw it this morning. I think I got the right character. When Sam takes on the Captain America mantle in the comics, Torres becomes the stand-in Falcon for a while.
Oh, okay.
I believe. I'm 99% sure.
Yeah.
Not for sure, but
I've heard something like that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty neat. But at the same time, I think Sam is, Falcon, right? I don't think you can make him Captain America, but
he can be both. He can have the shield and
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Because there's that one scene in the trailer where he throws the shield and he still has his Falcon suit on.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we get another appearance from Isaiah Bradley at all? Could he come in to join the battle as well at the end? Or maybe his son too.
Isaiah Bradley.
Yeah, the super soldier.
Right. Yes. Sorry, my bad. Yeah. I think they definitely have to tie him back in. I mean, I don't think you can have that scene and not reincorporate him at some point in the show. I think in this episode, in the next episode, 5th episode, I think he makes a reappearance. Okay. Absolutely, for sure. You can't not have him show up and have that massive altercation on the street, not massive altercation, but that
Yeah.
fight on the street between those two arguing back and forth, and how you know how strongly Sam felt about it, and how the history that Bucky talked about with him. Yeah, I definitely think he'll have some sort of appearance at some point.
Yeah, I think so too. I think his son in the comics is a superhero too. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe we see something with him as well. Maybe he could be a part of like the Young Avengers moving forward potentially. I don't know. What else was I gonna say? Yeah, I think he could definitely join the final battle too. Oh, apparently there's a new character coming into the show in the next episode. I don't know if you've heard this, but
If not,
there is someone coming in, and my guess is the power broker, because it makes sense. I don't really know who else is yet to be introduced, but the director has said that there is going to be a new character, and that there's going to be a scene that makes us cry as well. So it might be a bit of an emotional episode. But he said that this character
oh
he would
no.
really like to see paired with Thor in an upcoming Marvel movie. Yeah. So, okay, I don't think it's someone that we've already seen. And I'm not that familiar with the comics at all. So I don't have any guesses to who this is. I
Paired
feel like,
with Thor.
yeah, someone from the comics, I would assume that could, or actually, it's probably has nothing to do with like the character he plays, but maybe just like their personalities could fit well
Oh,
together.
okay. I was gonna
Maybe.
say the only characters I feel like that would maybe pair with Thor are Beta Ray Bill, and then maybe Adam Warlock, who they've kind of just
Adam
left off.
Warlock. Wow,
I
imagine.
was I was thinking about that today. I mean, if you were gonna introduce him, you know, Infinity War, they would have had him around for Infinity War, because in the comics he was like one of the biggest characters for the Infinity Gauntlet series,
Okay.
and they introduced him in Guardians 2,
Yeah.
and he's
At the
just
end of
hasn't.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they haven't done anything with him. And I know in end credit scenes before, they've kind of hinted at storylines and just done nothing with it. Like when Thanos was first introduced, when he at the end of the Avengers, when he's sitting on his throne in space, and the his minion says, to challenge the Avengers is to court death, right? That's kind of like hinting at, in the comics, Thanos's whole thing was he was trying to impress Death, who
Lady
was
Death,
a
right?
woman, right?
Yeah.
And maybe you think, okay, well that's the story they're going to go with, but they changed it, right? So maybe I don't know, if they don't kind of bring Adam Warlock back, it's kind of just weird. I mean, maybe he'll be around in Guardians 3, but
Maybe.
I'd hope so. I think
Yeah.
that's such a big character to just
For sure.
leave out.
Yeah. Like I think that storyline is definitely going to happen. I think there's a couple other ones that like we will get answers to.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to touch on a couple of them in a bit as well. But I don't know who this cameo could be. Maybe Warlock. Maybe, I don't know. I feel like that's
That
kind
would
of
be
big,
so
right?
weird. Yeah, that would
I
be
think
so
that's too
weird.
big for a
Yeah.
TV show though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like this cameo is gonna happen, and it's just gonna kind of go over my head a little bit, because I'm not like super knowledgeable about the comics, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have a good guess as to who this could be if it's a new character being introduced. My best guess is the power broker, and it's hopefully a good actor, and maybe the actor does have some fireworks with Thor in a future movie.
Maybe the power broker is a character that we're familiar with,
That would
and
be really cool.
that came into power during the snap, or the blip, I guess they call it, right?
Yeah.
But because I'm pretty sure they mentioned, he was around, or I think it's he, because they showed his face,
Yes.
sort of his eyes. Um,
Did they?
but
They showed his eyes?
yeah, there was also in the credits, I believe, they have this like weird thing where it says like the power broker is watching,
Right.
and it's like four sets of his eyes just like stacked on top of each other, like layered, like up and down, like a
Wow.
weird little thing.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's a man. Hey, I could be wrong. I don't know, but
I've seen the power broker is watching thing in the credits
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. So I think that would be, if it's a character we're familiar with, or if it's a name that we know from either comics or just other Marvel movies in the past, I think that would be a cool kind of tie-in. I don't know who it would be, but
That'd be really cool. But I don't know. And then the emotional thing too. Like
Yeah.
someone's probably gonna die, I would assume, right? Or it's not gonna be
Maybe.
Sam or Bucky. It's not gonna be Sam or
Oh,
Bucky.
what if it's Sarah, Sam's sister?
Man, yeah,
Because she's already been drawn
Karli,
into it, right?
Karli kills her. Like she already threatened her and her kids.
Yeah.
That would be really sad. Especially because Sam said that he wouldn't let anything happen to her or the kids ever, right?
Yeah. And the last thing he said to her was pack of bags and take the kids, get out of here, right? And that was it. So maybe they're gonna get intercepted by somebody or the power broker or something. I don't know. He's
Sheesh,
whoever it
this
is.
show's gonna get good, man. Like we're
Yeah, the
talking
last
some
two
good
episodes,
news.
it's gonna be nuts. Something's gonna happen because I feel like they have to introduce the power broker in the next episode before. You can't just introduce a character in the last episode and
Yeah.
have everybody expect everybody to just fear this character. I think if you build it up over the second last episode and then you have the last episode finale, I think that's the best way to do it. But
That's what we were hoping for in WandaVision too.
yeah, I know. Yeah,
We just never got the cameo. It was just Paul
I know.
Bettany.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, it would be really sad if Sarah died because like she's such an innocent character. But that's why it'd be so emotional
yeah.
though, because we just wouldn't expect it, and it would hurt Sam, who we care a lot about.
I mean,
I don't
Sarah
see her.
has
Yeah.
sorry, Sarah has all the reasons to kind of side with the flag smashers, right? She's against Sam in every aspect of their arguments. And, she's saying, you don't know what it was like during the snap. You don't know what it was like for us here. Everything that, Karli preaches is, we can have one world united, everybody's helped, nobody is dropped off and forgotten about. And that's how Sarah feels, right? She feels like
Yeah.
she was forgotten when her brother left off and just left the problems behind. And now he comes back saying that he can fix it when in reality she knows he can't.
Yeah.
So I feel like what if she becomes sympathetic towards the flag smashers or something like that,
And then
she
like
ends up just caught in the crossfire or anything like that.
yeah, well, so if she sides with the flag smashers, that means the flag smashers wouldn't be the ones to do it. It could be the power broker or John Walker.
Yeah, I think he's gonna go nuts. I hope he goes nuts.
Do we want to talk anything else about Falcon? Any other predictions? Anything else you got? I don't want to jump too far ahead.
I don't know. Like I had some notes, but we've covered a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
I think Karli's gonna come around. Yeah, I don't have anything more to say. I feel like that's all it. I think on it. Last thing I think Karli has a great vision, like the idea that that they all saw when the snap occurred. One world came together, and they all, there were no borders. Everybody helped each other, and everybody was together. And then all the people in power come back after the snap, and the world changes, and then the people are left to die or left to starve and left to suffer, and the people that were there to see it, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think she's going to come around though.
I think so too. It's definitely good intentions, and her intentions aren't really to kill unless like she has, but I don't think those are her main intentions. She's just doing it because those people are in the way of her plan. I think the last point you said before being cut off there was John Walker's just going to go crazy.
Oh yeah. He's going to go nuts.
I think he will. Yeah. He'll go nuts. And that should be, I don't know, not cool to see, but it's going to be entertaining to see what happens with him. And it's going to be a great two episodes. So, a question that was kind of brought up in the first episode of this show: what happened to Old Man Cap? And we saw him at the end of Endgame, giving the shield to Sam, but we never saw like a death. We never saw a funeral. Is there any hope that he is still, in the current MCU timeline? There's no real answer to this, but like, what's your opinion? Like, where do you think he could have gone?
I don't think he's around anymore. I don't know if he died or he's gone back to his, alternate timeline or whatever it is. I don't think he's around. Again, in watching it, rewatching it again today, Sam is talking to just Bucky, and or no, yeah, when Zemo's there as well, they're on their plane and they're talking about Marvin Gaye, and they talk about Steve in past tense. Every time he said, ever they bring up Steve, it's past tense as if he's no longer around. He said, "Oh, Steve loved Marvin Gaye," or
Oh yeah.
Steve would have done this, or it seems as though he's not around. And I think that's kind of the smart thing to do. If they want to do a little cameo here and there, or just one cameo, actually, now that I think about it, I think that's fine. But I've had a weird kind of idea for a while.
Okay. All right. Let's hear it.
So first, I don't think he's around anymore. I just want to say that. However, this is really dangerous. This is a really dangerous thing for Marvel to kind of mess with if they ever go down this road at all. But they've shown they can do it, and they've shown they've done it in movies, shown it in Endgame. Instead of like they said, instead of pushing them through time, they push time through them. Look what they did with Ant-Man. They made him, or look what they did with Scott. They made him young just like that, right? They have the technology, and Banner's still around. He can do it, right? I think he's still alive. They have the technology to make someone young again. So I think, like I said, a very dangerous thing to mess with, because then you just continuously go on and on and on with these characters.
You do it with anyone, yeah.
You undo what you did in Endgame, right? And giving him his happy ending, and he's done his his happy ride off into the sunset, right? But I don't think he's around. I don't know if we'll see him again. I think he's earned his finale. I think it was so good, but I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I think like there could be a chance that he's not dead. Just because we haven't seen like a definitive, anyone say that he died, or no, there's no funeral. And I feel like there definitely should be a Captain America funeral if he was to die. But maybe Sam and I don't know if Sam and Bucky, maybe Sam and Bucky both know like where he is, and they're just not telling anyone. I don't think he's on the moon, which is brought up in the first episode.
Yeah.
But maybe he is in space. Maybe he's in space with Nick Fury. But I've kind of already said another Nick Fury theory in this one, so it's probably not. I can't be 2 for 2 on that. I don't know. Maybe he did go back to his old timeline as well. But then again, I'm always thinking like, how is Captain America like so old, or like look so old when he came back in Endgame? Because even though I guess Bucky is a little bit different, but Bucky is like 104 years old, but he doesn't age. He doesn't look like he's 100 years old. Why was Captain America like so looking old, I guess, in that final scene of Endgame? I didn't really understand that.
The way I understand it is with Bucky, when he was found by the Nazis or Hydra. I guess it was Hydra, right?
Yeah.
He was kind of brought off ice and put back on ice every so often to do a mission, right? So same with the other Winter Soldiers in Civil War. They're preserved as they are because they were frozen and put in sleep, right? So they don't actually age. They're just kept as they are. So with Bucky, it's like with Bucky, he comes in, throughout the decades and here and there for a mission, right? And then he's put back under to preserve him for whenever they need him, right?
True.
So, and then with Steve, when he goes back in time, right, he lives on from 1945 till I guess that's 2024 or something, 2023.
2023, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
that makes sense, yeah. And then the same thing with Isaiah Bradley then too. Like that's why he's, I guess, I don't know when he was given the serum, but maybe when he was younger, he was given the serum, and that's why he's aging, because he's not kept under ice. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And I mean, they even said like Isaiah fought Bucky in 51, right? I think 1951 or 61 or something like that.
Yeah.
So
true.
He's been around for a while.
Yeah.
I don't even know when it was, but yeah.
Yeah. I would like to see an answer to this though. I think they can't really, just give this a loose end. I think they have to be, maybe by the end of the series, there's a reveal or an end credit. Actually, I don't know about an end credit scene because that normally means it leads into something. But maybe at the end we just get like one sentence. Sam and Bucky happen to be talking about Steve's funeral or something like that, and they just say like one sentence, and then it's like, oh, he died, and then maybe something like that happens.
I feel like Steve's funeral has to be a big thing. I feel like you save that for a movie.
True.
If you're gonna kill him, like, just imagine.
Well, no, I mean, like it's not like they don't show a funeral in this show. You just hear like one sentence, them talking about it as if it already happened. Like they say like, oh yeah, at Steve's funeral, like this happened or something. They just mention it.
Oh
and
yeah,
then
like
and then that's
happened.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe. And then just to give us like closure that it's over. But they don't make a big deal out of it. They just say that, and it still like hits us, but it's subtle.
Maybe there's your big emotional scene in the next episode.
Maybe it could happen. I don't know if it'll be that emotional, like, because we kind of assume that it could happen, like that he's already dead.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe you're right though. But Chris Evans, he could be back in another future Marvel title apparently. I think he's in talks with Marvel about coming back in a movie.
Hey, do it. Do a Cold War Captain America. Ooh,
yeah,
I'd be all for that. Him living his life through, that would be sick.
I think that's probably what they would go for, because I don't think they're going to continue it like in the current timeline. It would have to be a flashback or
They're moving on. Like they got so many new things coming, and I think having those older guys still around. I feel like Thor's the one you keep around. I think with how well Ragnarok did, right? I think he's the one you keep around. Like they got so many. I don't want to say replacements, but like they have She-Hulk announced, right? They have Miss Marvel.
Bishop.
Yep, Kate Bishop. They also have Ironheart announced, right? So, just kind of moving on, like you mentioned earlier, the Young Avengers, and then even Wanda's kids, right? Yeah. She had that little moment at the end where she could hear them calling out. So she's looking for them, trying to figure out a way to bring her kids back. And I don't know.
That's a good segue into the next question I got. Speaking of Wanda and, the end of WandaVision and stuff, people are saying that, well, she's in Doctor Strange too. We know that for sure.
Yeah.
What's going to be her role in that, you think? Do you think she could be the villain in Doctor Strange 2, or could she team up with him?
I don't think she'll be the villain, just because of they've already made her out to be the villain in WandaVision to start, and she's had that redemption, sort of finding herself and sort of fighting off that evil that she was doing within the city, and she's already righted her evil. Mind you, she looked pretty evil at the end of WandaVision, freaking out the way she did, twitching and all that stuff.
With the dark hold, she's reading the dark hold.
Exactly. So whether that has anything to do with like Mephisto or something like that going forward in the multiverse movie with Doctor Strange, but she might be, sort of tempted in a sense. But at the same time, I don't think she'll be the main villain. I think Mordo is going to be the villain. They already kind of showed that he's already started on his little path of removing all the sorcerers from the world, right? I think she'll be a good guy again, or a protagonist.
I think, like, I don't think she's going to be full on villain. I think like maybe the plot is, Wanda, she hears her kids calling, she has to go through the multiverse to try and, find her kids. Doctor Strange, notices like what she's doing, and he wants to stop her from doing that because she's, causing ripples in time, or time loops, whatever Mordo was talking to Doctor Strange about in the first Doctor Strange movie. Maybe there's a situation where Mordo tries to like lure Wanda onto his side,
Yeah.
Because Doctor Strange is trying to stop what she's doing. Maybe Mordo's like, no, do it. Like, you want to find your kids? Like, I'll help you.
Yeah.
And they kind of team up against him. I think, is it Nightmare? I think he is a rumored villain in Doctor Strange 2 as well. So that could be like an entirely different plot then, and that would mean Wanda will probably be good. I don't think Wanda would be a villain then if they were to fight like a bigger being. I
Mhm.
could see them teaming up against him.
Yeah.
But yeah, two different storylines there. I think both of them are possible. I don't want to see Wanda a villain. I
No,
hated it
yeah.
in WandaVision.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I think they're done with. They should be done with. And if they want to go that route, go for it. I think they'll do it well, right? But I think they have to have a really good reason for her to fall back into that again, right? Because
yeah.
she's already had that whole getting over her grief sort of thing that kind of turned her before. So it would just be interesting to see how they go about that if they choose to go down that route.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Another character that is an OG character that we saw die, and I've been on this train for a while. I think she's still alive. Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson, Natasha Romanoff. She dies in Endgame on Vormir after sacrificing her life to get the Soul Stone. I'll say my theory first, and
Yeah.
I've been saying this
Please.
for a couple of years. I think I've been saying this since I remember watching Far From Home with my friends, and we just had like a giant Marvel discussion after this because there's like a big gap between Far From Home and like the next movie that was coming out. So like we are talking about like what could
Yeah.
happen. And it's like Black Widow is still alive because if you remember in the end of Endgame when Hulk was talking to Captain America, he said, I tried. I really tried to bring her back. When I had the stones, I tried to bring her back. What if you did? Like, if he was actually trying to bring her back in that moment when he snapped and he was thinking that, like, hey, bring back Natasha and bring back everybody that snapped away 5 years ago, snap. He does it. Where is Black Widow right now?
Should be
She's
on
not on
Vormir,
Earth.
right?
She's not on Earth. She's on Vormir.
Yeah.
She has no way home. She's just trapped there with the Red Skull, I guess, or we don't know what happened to the Red Skull. Maybe he leaves when someone takes the Soul Stone. We don't know. But I think Black Widow is still on Vormir. She just doesn't have a way back.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
Um, I think I definitely don't think she's gone.
Okay.
I agree with you.
Really? Okay.
Just because of at the end of Endgame, you see the 2014 version of Gamora takes off on her own, but Quill is still looking for their version of Gamora, right? You can see he looks her up on like this screen thing and it says she can't be found. So he's still looking for her. And then when Thanos gets the Soul Stone, he goes into the soul world, right? Or the soul dimension. I'm not sure what it's called. And young Gamora is there, right? He sees someone else. He has that, meeting with her, like, she's trapped there or something like that. And that's the whole thing with Adam Warlock, right? He can go in and out of the soul world, the soul realm. I'm not sure what it's called.
Soul Realm. I think it's Soul Realm.
Yeah. So that's the thing, right? If they introduce him in Guardians 3, that's how maybe they get Gamora back, right? But on top of that, then you have that ability to get Natasha. And also, if you saw in the Loki trailer, she's sitting there. She has her back turned and she's sitting on a rock. No, did you see that or no?
It's not her though.
Who is it?
Her. It's Lady Loki. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not
No.
Natasha. Yeah.
No, it is. No, I don't believe that. I refuse to believe that. What do you mean? Who's that?
No, it's not Natasha. Yeah. I definitely read into that. It looks like Natasha. It does. Like the red
I'm gonna
hair
Google it right
and
now.
everything.
Lady Loki. Loki trailer. Google images right now.
Yeah, does it come up? I believe it's Lady Loki. Like, I don't think it's confirmed, but from the videos that I've watched and the things that I've seen, that's not Natasha on Vormir. That's like another planet, and that's Lady Loki. It would be crazy if it was Natasha, though.
Hold on, I gotta get a better.
Nothing? Yeah.
I got the picture. I just need it. Black Widow Loki trailer.
uh,
Oh,
I see
there
like
it is. Okay.
Lady Loki. Like
Oh no, that's for sure her, man. Like,
you
come
no,
on.
you can't make it out to be like.
Come on.
No, I I've
Come
seen
on
it.
now.
I've seen it. It does look like her. It does. But like, okay, honest, like, yeah, it's. I really want it to be her. It makes sense for it to be her. It looks like her. Um, but
Oh, if that's
it's
not her, I'm
not.
gonna lose my mind.
It's not. It's not her. It's
Where did you see that was Lady Loki? I've never heard of that before.
I watched this YouTube channel called New Rockstars,
Oh yeah.
and I believe he broke down the trailer and he said that it was Lady Loki. I don't I don't think it's confirmed. I don't think it's confirmed. Yeah, I'm looking at the picture now, like, and that was the first thing I thought too. Like I'm in the same boat as you. Like I thought it was her until he mentioned it on his video that it's not. But yeah, if I look at it closely, like, was Natasha's hair that short and that like, I think her hair was more straight when she died, right?
She had like that ponytail thing.
Yeah.
Like the braided ponytail. It's definitely not her as she was in Endgame.
Right.
But I still think that's her in her suit with the short hair as she was in Avengers or the first one. I mean, I think she's going to make an appearance. And if she doesn't, I'm going to be very sad. I'm going to be very, very, very sad because I've been getting super excited. This is the first time you've just broken the news to me that it's probably not her, and I don't know how to react to that.
Damn. Yeah. There's another photo, another close-up photo. I just typed in Lady Loki on Google, and there's another shot. I think it's from the new trailer of Loki sitting beside her.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know. Like the photo is titled, "Is it Black Widow or Lady Loki?" in the latest Loki trailer.
Better not be.
Better not
I'll be
Lady
upset,
Loki.
Man. Because like that's
okay,
the thing.
So what's
though.
your theory then? If that's Loki, like if that's Black Widow, how did she come back? And why is she in Loki? Yeah.
Okay, so on the spot thought.
Yeah,
on
exactly,
the spot thought.
Yeah.
5 to 10 seconds of thinking. The Loki, as far as I don't know, I could be totally wrong on this. The Loki that we're going to be watching is 2012 Loki.
Yes.
Loki from Avengers 1. They're the first Avengers. So that means Natasha's still alive.
Ooh.
In his timeline. So what if it's just 2012 Natasha? That would explain the hairstyle and the outfit. Why she'd be sitting there like that. I mean, he's got the space stone, right? So he can go wherever he wants, and we saw him teleport out of wherever. Maybe it's not even that version of Loki, right? Because the way that whole thing happened, that timeline, I don't understand how it works. I'm not gonna pretend to understand like I know how it works.
Yeah.
But if that's the only way that I could see that making sense right now without the show explaining itself.
So like maybe like in the 2012 timeline, Loki has to go to like another planet and he has to bring along Natasha Romanoff on the mission. And then, well, I feel like, okay, like because this Loki trailer or this Loki show is happening in 2012, like I guess
it is, right?
I think so. Like, well, this is the timeline. Well, it's definitely not the Loki that died. So it has to be.
Or did Loki die?
I think he died.
I think he died too.
Yeah. But now because it is a show that's in the past, and like the only way to tie this storyline into future Marvel movies would be to bring back those characters in a time jump of like, I don't know, 8 years or 10 years, 2012 to the new, or 14 years. Like if Loki was to return somehow in the MCU, he would have to be it would have to be the 2012 Loki that joins the 2024 timeline, I guess.
Yeah, because if he's dead, I mean, and it's also a different timeline of Loki, so he's still evil. He's still as he was in Avengers, the first Avengers, right?
Yeah.
He's not learned. His mother hasn't died. He's not. he hasn't gone through what he has with his brother and
Yeah.
that whole
I
redemption.
didn't like that Loki either. I just watched Avengers like 2 days ago too. I did not like that Loki.
Yeah, a little too evil.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, sorry I had to break you that news.
Hey, you know what? It's better I find out now than, when I go and start watching the show and, she turns around and it's just not Scarlett Johansson. It's like, hey, man.
What happened to her face?
Yeah, exactly. They recast her, and that's what I'm thinking for, the rest of the episode. And then I got to wait for someone to put out a video to explain what the hell is going on. Yeah, I mean, I prefer I find out now than, waiting a month and a half and just getting excited for nothing. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Hey, you got to look at the positive. Exactly. You're not going to be as heartbroken then while watching.
Yeah.
But you never know. There's the chance. There's the chance.
Yeah.
It's Natasha. But
Yeah.
let's move on to something that I'm always curious about, and I always have this debate with myself. What scene in the MCU is your favorite? This is It's a tough question to answer because there's so many great scenes, and like honestly, you don't have to give a number one because it's tough to rank them unless you have a number one. But give it a shot.
Man, this is so difficult because I think there are so many great scenes. Off the top of my head, I have 3. Like, just
you know what? We probably have the same 3.
I think personally, I think every Marvel fan would have this scene on their list, probably number 1 potentially. Thor and Wakanda. Like,
yep, Thor
like that's it. It's so. I remember seeing that in the theater and everybody just going ballistic, and including myself, and just that, just how, I don't even know, like every time I watch it, I get goosebumps. It's just super exciting. It's, he shows up. It's so powerful.
The
I
Avengers
think that seems,
theme music.
Yeah. And then, he's screaming, bring me Thanos, and then jumping up with all the lightning in the background, just the way it looks. Sick scene. That.
Yeah.
But if I'm not being basic,
something creative.
Yeah. I'll try to think of something different. I really like the scene at the end in Far From Home where Peter closes his eyes when he's going after Beck in that hallway, and he just closes his eyes and just goes off on all the drones. I think that is such a sick scene. I think that's so good. I think personally, I'm a big fan of the
visual effects.
No, sorry. I'm a big fan of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies.
Oh, okay.
I love those movies. I think Spider-Man 2 is the best superhero movie. Personally,
okay.
Weird take, I know. But I think that scene in Far From Home is the best big screen Spider-Man scene that has been done. I think it looks so good, and the way they do it, like, him jumping off the walls and spinning, using the drones on each other, and just the way he moves and the way it looks, and having his spider sense come back, hasn't been there the whole movie. I think it just looks so good. And then after that, I mean, obviously, everybody, the Avengers assembling an Endgame.
Yeah.
And then I also really love Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I think that's a great movie. So that end scene with the funeral always gets me.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I love that scene.
The song is good. Yeah.
Yeah. Cat Stevens. Love it.
But
yeah. I don't know. What about you? I'm curious to see.
I got a couple. Yeah. Thor Arrives in Wakanda was definitely up there. I don't think I have a number 1. It's tough to say. Like, like my number 1 would probably be like the basic portals, like, because it is like, just as soon as Bucky says, or Sam says, Cap, can you hear me? And like on your left. And then like I just remember it mostly because, and it's my favorite because of the theater reaction to it. And I remember there were like guys behind me that were like chanting the Ibambe when Black Panther was coming in there and doing like the war call. So yeah, that was an amazing scene, and that's the best part. That's the best movie scene I've seen in theaters, I think. That probably goes over
Yeah.
Thor Rising
Oh,
Wakanda.
I forgot
Yeah.
to mention Ragnarok too, when he on the bridge and he gets his,
Oh yeah, that was
that's
sick
so
too.
sick.
But the
So
music,
sick.
the
Yeah.
immigrant song.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great one. The Captain America Winter Soldier movie was great. The elevator scene, and
Hmm.
even outside of the elevator, when he jumps out of the elevator,
Through the
breaking the
glass.
glass
Yeah.
through the glass with the shield hitting the floor. And then even when he's on the motorcycle, escaping the facility, and he has to like throw the shield. He jumps onto the plane, takes out the engine of the plane and
Yeah.
rides off. Like, I think that was an insane scene. Another one that maybe isn't, that I think it was pretty popular when it came out. Guardians Volume 2 as well. Come a little bit closer.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
With Yondu's what is it? It's like
The arrow,
the
the
arrow,
fin, the
yeah, the
arrow.
fin
Yeah.
arrow fin where he's whistling and he's
That scene just looks so good.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the song, like, you would never think that song would work in like
But it
a
does.
battle scene, but it does. It's sick. And yeah, I really like that one. There's probably countless amount of other ones that I'm missing. There has to be. But
I think what's
yeah.
great about the Guardians movies, specifically Guardians 2, is James Gunn writes some of his scenes and scripts some of the scenes based off the song he knows he wants to use for the scene.
Yeah.
So that's why like they fit so well, right? He films the scene thinking, all right, this is going to be this part of the song, and he picks the song before he does the scene. So I think that's, like you said, you wouldn't expect that song to work, but
Yeah.
because the scene's filmed around the song, right?
Yeah.
I think it's so perfect, and that's
Yeah.
definitely a good call.
Yeah.
That song or that scene.
Even Come and Get Your Love.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the first Guardians, and even in Endgame when that came back, like the transition, like you start hearing it in Asgard, and then it carries over to what's the plan?
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't.
We know it. I just can't think of it on the spot. He got the Power Stone from
Start with an M.
Huh?
Start with an M.
It's not why can't I think of this? Like, I should know this. Quill stole the Power Stone from Rocket. Said it in Endgame. Quill stole the Power Stone.
Morag.
Morag, yeah.
It does start with an M. Okay.
Morag, yeah, Morag.
I looked it up. I didn't remember it.
Okay.
No, I did not.
Yeah, for Morag, yeah, that was a great scene as well.
Yeah.
There were so many great scenes in Endgame. Callback scenes, or Thor or Cap wielding Mjolnir.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was so cool. I think underrated scenes are any scene with Ultron in it. I think Age of Ultron, I don't think, from what I've seen in lists, I don't think it gets enough credit. I think James Spader is such a perfect Ultron, the voice.
yeah.
And I think like the way he speaks and the way he controls the character with his voice is so good.
Yes.
And I love that character. So I like a lot of the scenes with him in it. The way he interacts with Tony too. I think it's so funny, and because they're like total opposites, right? But yeah, I don't know. Lots of good scenes.
Do you think he is still alive? Yeah, you're on the Ultron train. Yeah,
yes. I thought in WandaVision we were
Yeah.
potentially going to see White Vision have a little bit of a setback and get like Ultron back through there, and then have him reintroduced that way. Because I mean, if you think about it, Vision was being made by Ultron, so the body that they have essentially was just what Ultron created, and then
Exactly.
you don't have those layers of Tony and Banner and the Stone there anymore. It's just what Ultron created. So I hope he comes back. I love that character.
Yeah, people were saying that like it has to be Ultron's voice. If we get the White Vision, it has to be his voice.
Yeah.
Didn't happen, but I think there's definitely still the possibility, because like he's out there. Like there's some like small form of Ultron still out there, and like I don't know, maybe Marvel is kind of moving past that, and maybe they are trying to just bring in new villains and new characters and stuff like that. They're not looking back on the past, but I think maybe in Armor Wars with Rhodey, there's a callback to Ultron potentially. Maybe in a future Avengers movie, whenever that happens.
Yeah, like we have no idea what that's going to look like right now, right?
Exactly. We don't know what the team's going to look like.
Whether or not they're going to do like two separate kinds, like one on Earth and then a group up in space, right?
Maybe.
I mean,
I
the
don't
issue
know.
is, how do you top Thanos, right? That's their
Yeah.
difficulty, right?
I think like there's gonna have to be somehow Marvel's gonna want to top the battle in Endgame. I think, and I don't know if this is. I think there's a comic about it. I forget the name of the villain who does this, but I think he like brings all the heroes onto one planet and all of the villains onto one planet, and they battle.
The Secret Wars, is that?
Is
Yeah.
that Secret Wars?
Yeah. I don't know if that's Doctor Doom or if that's. I think Doctor Doom's going to be. I think he's going to be the next big villain. I think he's.
Okay.
It is Doctor Doom.
Is it okay?
Or.
Oh no, it's actually, I don't think it's Doctor Doom. I think it's someone
Apocalypse.
else. Apocalypse. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think Doctor Doom will be the next big Avengers threat. I think because like the issue is they need to be careful again here, because they've already shown Carol Danvers can overpower Thanos without the stones. You know, the Infinity Stones they've claimed and they've showed and they've nailed it into, you know, all of our minds. They're the most powerful things in the universe, right? So now how do you create a villain that's that much more of a threat when you have Scarlet Witch, who could have taken on Thanos on her own? You have Carol Danvers, who could have taken on Thanos on her own.
Yeah.
And you have Doctor Strange, who took on Thanos when he had 4 Infinity Stones. Yeah. So now how do you create that villain that's going to be that threat when you have 3 characters like that are still around and kicking?
So you think Doctor Doom is like next level, like above Thanos, or like close?
I think
Thanos?
Galactus is probably, I would say he's like the biggest threat.
Right.
Like the world, he eats worlds, right? He devours worlds, and he wants, and same with Dormammu, he wants to take over, right? He's still a big bad, but
King the Conqueror, I think he's, you know, with if they continue to go with the multiverse.
Yeah. And then one thing, kind of going back into Falcon, but it ties into this Falcon and the Winter Soldier. In the first episode where Torres introduces the Flag Smashers, Sam goes, "Well, that's a stupid name, right?" Torres goes, "Oh, that's nothing. You should hear some of the names that some of these groups have, right?" It's kind of like referencing there are other stupid name groups out there. So I started thinking, oh, maybe it's, you know, the you know, maybe there's like a Sinister Six going on out there, or starting up, or oh my god,
there's something remember. There's something bad with like I know in WandaVision, you know, with like the beehives and stuff, and there's like an organization, something to do with bees. So maybe that's another bad name for like a villain group. Yeah, I don't know.
What, I'm trying to remember the name of this. What is it?
Thunderbirds.
Masters of Evil. That's what it is. Henrik Zemo. Zemo is the villain. Okay. He also has like Dr. Octopus in there sometimes. He has Magneto in there sometimes. Okay. Like there's a ton of different versions. And also oh my god, I can't remember his name. Arnim Zola is also part of the Masters of Evil. So I think that would be kind of cool if they did something like that. I don't know. Maybe he survives and they go on and they do that. So I don't know.
I would really like to see a team up of the villains, and we will probably see a bit of that in the new Spider-Man movie, in, you know, Sinister Six coming in.
They have 3 introduced, right? They have the Vulture, they have Mysterio.
Yep.
And they have
Shocker's
there too, and Scorpion as well. Was
Scorpion.
Gargan, Matt Gargan, right? He had a scorpion tattoo. And
and he talked
to and on top of that, the person who creates the Scorpion is Jameson, J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh yeah,
because
right.
he wants to take out Spider-Man, right? And now he's radicalized against Spider-Man, so now maybe he's going to be in on to take out Spider-Man.
And then
I think that would be pretty cool.
I think Doc Ock is also confirmed to be in the new Spider-Man as well.
Yeah,
Rumors
Alfred Molina. Alfred Molina
yeah.
is cast in the movie.
Yeah.
As well as Jamie Foxx as
Jamie Foxx as
Electro.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's gonna be a great movie. The Christmas time too. Another Christmas movie.
December 17th or something like that.
Let's hope it doesn't get pushed back.
Oh, that's something I for sure want to see in the theaters. That's that's gonna be so good. I want them to really do that well. Last time they had a bunch of villains in all at once for Spider-Man. Well, actually, they did it twice. They tried to do 3 villains in The Amazing Spider-Man with Goblin, Rhino.
Oh yeah,
Electro.
But Rhino only came in at the end, right?
Yeah, well, he was in there at the beginning, technically the character, right? And then he came in at the end.
I see.
And
that was the second one.
Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
Yeah. And then in Spider-Man 3, they tried to, get too many villains in. They had Harry as the Goblin, they had Venom, they had Sandman, right?
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't know.
Let's hope it works out, and we might even get multiple Spider-Mans too in this one.
Tobey Maguire, swear to God, I don't understand the hate for him. Bring him back.
Yeah, I don't understand the hate for him either. It's mostly the Garfield hate. I see more. Nobody likes Garfield, but I don't mind any of them.
You want to talk to somebody about Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man? You got to talk to Patrick Talon.
Patrick Talon? Okay.
Oh, he'll go on for 3 hours about him.
Okay, I might have to get him on
without taking a breath. That's unbelievable.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. That movie's gonna be insane. It's gonna be like the end game for Spider-Man movies, I think. And who knows where the future goes for Peter Parker after that? But I think it's gonna be an insane movie. Anything else you want to talk about Marvel related? I know you probably got a lot more you can say.
I could say so much, but we'd be here forever. So
yeah,
I think that wraps up every thought that I've had for the topics we've discussed so far.
That's amazing. Okay. Well, it's been a great show. So I want to thank you, Matt, for coming on. It's been a blast. Make sure to check Matt out on Instagram. You got a new live stream going or Toronto Maple Leafs related?
Yeah, I'm doing a live show weekly. We don't have a set day, but we try to do 1 or 2 a week with Nigel Gabektion. We got back into that. Oh, there goes my mic.
That cut out completely. I didn't hear any of it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all good. That's pretty much it.
Wait, no, it all cut out. Like I didn't catch any of what you said there with the Leaf stuff.
Oh, really? It had cut out from them?
Yeah, it cut out.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Just of course, right at the end. So we're just doing a show about hockey, and we'll talk about everything. So that's on Twitch. If you want to check it out, go for it. Check us out on Twitter, but
sure, I'll put the description. I'll put the link in the description there. Follow Matt on Instagram and Twitter as well. I'll be back next week. Leafs trade deadline coming up. I'm probably going to do an episode on that. If they make a big move, Taylor Hall, maybe we'll see what happens there. I know Matt's got a lot to say about that, but maybe check out his live stream. You guys going to be doing some stuff on the deadline probably?
Yeah, I think we have a show. We got another live stream coming out on Monday. We're going to do it after the trade deadline, analyze everything and see how that goes. Hopefully no Taylor Hall, but
Yeah, maybe we don't need him. Let's get someone though. Let's make a move. All right, that'll do it for the show. Thank you guys very much for watching. Follow @UnlimitedPod on Instagram as well. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and we will see you guys later. Take care and peace.